Rebecca Bertrand. I'm the Executive Director of Newport Film, and I'm so thrilled to welcome you all tonight to the 11th Hour Racing Homecoming. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, let's make some noise. Awesome. Thank you. I just have a couple of quick housekeeping notes. If you're going to listen to the Q&A and the film from your car, you can tune in on your FM transmitter to the radio station 91.5. That's 91.5. It's also on the screens here. So if you're going to listen from your cars, if you're feeling a little chilly tonight, that's the station you want to tune into. Also, just a couple of really quick thank yous. This is part of Newport Film's Drive-In series, which has the presenting sponsor, Lila Delman Real Estate. We want to give them a huge shout out for supporting us all summer long. This has been so amazing. Thank you all, so many of you, for coming out every Thursday night of the summer. It's been amazing. Also, I want to thank our supporting series sponsor, Protect Our Winters, our event supporting sponsors, Bank Newport and Kyle James Patrick, and of course, the incredible venue that's sponsoring us tonight, Rhode Island State Parks and the DEM. You guys have been beyond incredible hosting us here for this amazing drive-in. Let's put our hands together and make some noise. I also want to give a huge, incredible shout out to our amazing event partners, Sail Newport, and of course, 11th Hour Racing. Thank you so much, everybody. This is also an incredible event that's part of Newport Film's programming, and for that, I want to thank our year-round supporting sponsors who are with us through every single event, whether it's online or it's outside at drive-ins or when we're back in movie theaters. Thank you so much to the Park South Hotel in New York City, to Kirby Perkins Construction, Lexington Partners, and Wimco Villas. Thank you. While you guys are getting settled tonight, if you're looking for the restrooms, those are in the visitor center, just to your right-hand side here, so you can feel free and use those restrooms anytime you'd like. They'll be open all night. And also, if you've ordered any pizza, or you still need to order pizza, or some gelato, you can get that back at Amano Pizza and Gelato truck. That's right by the Newport Film tent, where we also have some bug spray if you need it. Hand sanitizer stations are all around, so please feel free to make yourself comfortable. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you so much for being here. It's now my pleasure to introduce the Executive Director of Sail Newport, Brad Reed.
Thank you, Becca, and welcome to Fort Adams State Park. And for those of you who are on their boats, welcome to Sail Newport's Lofts and Piers. All of you boaters, all of you car drivers, make sure you're near your horns because we're going to make some noise a little bit. I want you to make sure you have your foghorns ready on your boats and get ready on your cars because we're going to make some noise because we're honoring 11th Hour Racing Team today, and we're going to welcome them to this great homecoming. I'm Brad Reed. I'm the Executive Director of Sail Newport, which is the host of the 2023 North American stopover of the Ocean Race. I'm so proud and honored to be here tonight to welcome all of you and to welcome 11th Hour Racing Team back home to Newport. I was offshore at 6:30 a.m. a month or so back to meet the team as they sailed into the bay. This training boat right down here at the end of the dock is a weapon. The thing is truly an amazing craft. Make sure you all check it out while they're here training for the next 2 months. And this team you're about to meet, they're a seasoned group of veteran ocean racers who can and will go out and win the 14th edition of the Ocean Race. There we go. Come on, let's go. There we go. 11th Hour Racing is our hometown team. And the next time that we have a big homecoming for this group, this big bash we're going to have, will be in early May 2023 when we will be celebrating their win on the leg from Brazil to Newport. So let's hear some horns for your 11th Hour Racing Team. Thank you. So tonight I also have the great honor to introduce our MC for the evening, Danny Washington. Danny is a TV host and a science communicator who's also the first African-American woman to host her own science television series. Currently, Danny's featured as a correspondent on a weekly nationally syndicated CBS series called Mission Unstoppable. Danny's also hosted other STEM shows, including Exploration, Nature Knows Best on Fox, Science the Shit Out of It on Facebook Watch, which I love that name. And just this past Wednesday, Danny was the host of the Ocean Races Ocean Summit, presented by 11th Hour Racing, which was filmed right here at Sail Newport. In 2017, Danny was selected as one of the 10 young rising innovators profiled in CA Technologies' #STEM10 initiative. Danny also served as the 2018 spokesperson of the nation's largest celebration of STEM at the USA Science and Engineering Festival in Washington, D.C. She's a graduate of the University of Miami with a degree in marine science and biology. She's a proficient scuba diver, the co-creator of Sea Youth Rise Up, an inspirational speaker, and a passionate advocate for the ocean and planet conservation. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a Newport Harbor style welcome for Danny Washington.
Thank you so much, Brad. I really appreciate that introduction. Wow, that's lovely. So good evening, everyone. It is such a pleasure to be here. And thank you to Newport Film for hosting this. I mean, this is an incredible event. I'm feeling very nostalgic right now because I see all these cars. I haven't been to a drive-in since I was like 12, so this is great to see. But once again, my name is Danny Washington, and it's a huge honor to be your MC for tonight. This is my first time in Newport ever, and I've had the warmest welcome, and I just love the fact that this beautiful city is so steeped in maritime history and all of the sailing culture, and it's just all palpable. And I've always been fascinated by just sailing in general as a medium to connect to the ocean. I think I just have deep admiration for sailors, especially sailor athletes who go out and, weather the storms, go out and deal with the waves, but still have so much love for the place that I love as well. Now, I grew up in Miami. Of course, I had much warmer water than here, and it doesn't help that I have Caribbean heritage, so I'm just super spoiled by the tropics, but I love cold water nonetheless. I also co-founded Big Blue and You, which is all about engaging young people in ocean conservation through art and science. And so in essence, what I do for a living is tell stories. I tell stories about science. I tell stories about the wonders of our beautiful planet on television. But ultimately, I want to inspire the next generation to think about how we're going to transform humanity's relationship to nature and how we're going to create a world where we can all thrive as one human family. So with that said, now more than ever, especially as a coastal city, you understand that the ocean needs our attention right now. So I'm thrilled to be here tonight because we're going to learn how the 11th Hour Racing team has infused sustainability into everything that they do. They're also inspiring positive action in sailing and coastal communities around the world. And I believe this. I know they will create global change, positive global change to improve ocean health. So tonight we've got an exciting evening for you. I hope you are ready. Not only are we going to get to meet the 11th Hour Racing team, but we'll have a live Q&A right here on stage with 3 of their key members, as well as their partner at 11th Hour Racing. We'll hear about their recent transatlantic crossing that they did last month, and we're going to learn about life on board their brand new 60-foot boat, which I'm really looking forward to checking out. And finally, we'll hear about the wildlife that they witnessed and encountered while at sea. But first, let's take a look at behind the scenes at 11th Hour Racing Team.
just feeling grateful to be able to go sailing right now. With everything that's happening in the world, and to have the boat back in the water with the new foil and the big upgrade is just an incredible feeling.
We have the makings of Final Group together for the first time. Feels great to get back on the boat and get offshore and get back into the swing of things.
I'm pretty happy to be on our way. Mostly just trying out this new foil, seeing how far we can push it and what we can do with it. Little pocket rocket.
It's a wild beast. It's going to take a while to tame. Down below you feel like you're in a torch chamber, but on deck it feels slightly better than that.
Really, really jarring. It just feels like you're getting jackhammered.
It's pretty wild.
Can't sleep. So it's being productive.
Just trying to spot as many shooting stars as we can.
Instead of using single-use plastic bags, we can use these stasher bags to store our snacks, our food, whatever we need. And then when we leave the boat, we can reuse them for the next leg.
You know, we're lucky to be out here in the open ocean, and we can provide feedback and real-time data, and we're measuring things like dissolved CO2 in the water, salinity, sea surface temperature, and from that they can calculate things like pH and ocean acidity, supporting science, which is very cool.
This is the first time in the evening we've been top open, really interacting with sea life. It's just beautiful. There you go.
So half across the Atlantic at the moment, and we're doing our bit for science and ocean health, getting this drifter buoy ready to be deployed.
Go into the ocean along with the 1,200 other of its friends, and should be giving us data for about 2 years. Give it a go.
Coming back to Newport for me personally is always very special because I grew up here, learned to sail here. Narragansett Bay is, in more ways than one, my home. It's also the home of 11th Hour Racing, the home of our team. It's really our home port, our base. So to do some training out of here this fall, 6 good weeks, is going to feel really good, really special, really lucky. Wake up in my own bed and go to work here in this beautiful part of the world every day.
That was absolutely incredible. What an adventure. I mean, wow. And now the moment we've all been waiting for. Without any further ado, I am delighted to present to you the sailing and shore crew from the 11th Hour Racing team. Everybody honk your horns. First up, we have Rhode Island's very own skipper Charlie Enright. Now we've got CEO Mark Towell from Hawaii. Team Chief Operating Officer Bill Erkland from California. And tonight we are thrilled to announce our 3 newest sailors for the very first time from the UK, Rob Greenhalgh. Come on up. Also from the UK, we've got Simon Fisher. Kyle Langford couldn't be here with us in person tonight, but he is definitely here in spirit. And from Ireland, boat captain James O'Mahony. Delivering the amazing content from the boat, Newport's own Amory Ross. From California, Special Projects Manager Justin Schaefer. Sponsorship Manager Meredith Carroll from Newport. And Digital Media Director Christy Wilson from Utah. The team has been supported here in Newport by Sam Fitzgerald, Jared Spiller, and Cullen Zelenka, intern from the team's partner, Oak Cliff Sailing. Give it up, everybody. This is 11th Hour Racing Team. So the team's gonna take a quick photo op. This is also your photo opportunity. You wanna grab those pics of the team. Looking good, guys. Don't wanna miss this photo op. It's so good to see you all together for this momentous homecoming. Sweet. Snap, snap, snap. Can we do one? Let's see. There we go. So we're going to take a quick photo behind here. Y'all look awesome. And there we go. Sweet. All right, so we're gonna have Mark, Charlie, and Amory. You can take a seat on the stage. Give it up, everybody, 11th Hour Racing Team. Okay, and now I'd like to invite one final person to come to the stage and join us, Alessandra Gezi, the Communications Director for 11th Hour Racing. Come on up, welcome, Ale. All right, so now that we are safely socially distanced on stage, feel free to take your masks off so we can chat. There we go, perfect. Let me pop mine in my pocket. Awesome. So let's start with the footage that we just witnessed on screen from your transatlantic crossing. I mean, there were some beautiful scenes there with wildlife and the sunset, but there were also some very rough scenes too, where it didn't look very fun. Charlie, you described it as somewhat of a torture chamber. How is this boat different than your last? And what was that experience like?
Yeah, it's drastically different than boats we've sailed in the past. It's a custom boat. It's got hydrofoils. Every day is new and exciting. It's just fun to go sailing. It's extremely fast. The foils make it fly, and kind of reduce its wetted surface and reach speeds of up to, 40 miles an hour. So yeah, everything that makes it fun on deck makes it difficult down below is, I think what you're alluding to, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, I had a quick second to go over there and take a peek inside the hull, and I can't believe it. I mean, it's wow. It's tight quarters, that's for sure. And then I've also heard a lot of descriptions because of the design that the boat almost feels like it's flying through the water. This particular, style, the Imoca 60, is that what it's really like?
Yeah, I mean, from a physics standpoint, the foils stick out the side, they generate lift, they lift the thing up out of the water, and that reduces the wetted surface and the drag, and that's what allows it to kind of reach the, the speeds that we see offshore, which is, you see it in the America's Cup and inshore racing all the time, but doing that kind of thing thousands of miles from anywhere can be pretty daunting at times.
I bet. I really bet. So for those of us who are not experienced sailors like me, I'm a newbie. I've been on a couple of sailboats and never gone 40 miles an hour on a sailboat, that's for sure. Walk us through what the boats are like down below. So when you step in, I understand that they're basically stripped down to nothing. And I'm also curious, I'm sure some of you are wondering too, what is the restroom bathroom situation like? Mark, do you want to take that one?
Happy to. Yeah, it's quite sparse living. We don't have any creature comforts really, so there's no shower, no toilet. We barely have a kitchen. There's one little jet boil which we use to boil water to eat our freeze-dried food and make coffees, and even that is a challenge at times. And yes, there is no head, so it's a nice bucket that we use. But the emphasis is about racing and about performance, and so. It's just about keeping it as simple as possible.
Wow, that's remarkable to me. I mean, it takes extreme discipline, but that's why I respect y'all so much. So, Charlie, this is for you. When you're doing a delivery trip like you just did from France over here to the USA, what are you doing on board with all of that time? You guys spent about 13 days at sea. What was happening while you were out there?
There's plenty going on. The boat just came out of a refit. It's been in the shed for about 6 months, so we had a lot of new systems, new foils that I was describing before. So we're testing those systems, the foils, the sails, working on our team dynamic, just frankly trying to solve some of the livability issues that these guys were referencing before. And then, as you saw in the video, doing our part for science and ocean health, whether it's sampling water or a drifter buoy or the spotting and tracking of marine life. I mean, there's no shortage of things to do when you're at sea for 2 weeks.
I bet. So tell us about the rest of the crew. You said that, teamwork is crucial and you have to at least kind of like each other, right? If you're going to be spending all that time in close quarters. Tell us about the 3 newest members of the team.
We're very excited to announce the 3 newest members of our team. Simon Fisher and Rob Greenhall have both gone around the world 5 times now as part of the ocean race. Both former winners. We went around last ocean race with Simon as the navigator, so that's kind of his specialty. Rob is a perennial finisher in the top 10 at the Moth World Championships, like a single-handed dinghy, so he'll help us fly around the world, hopefully. At least that's the plan. And also Kyle, who couldn't be with us here tonight. He's kind of comes from an America's Cup background. He won the Cup with Oracle a while ago and was second in the Volvo Ocean Race last go-around with Brunel, so he's been a great help on the technical side. And, we're still expanding the team. We're going to trial other members, both male and female, and we feel like we're in a pretty good spot, to round out a good team between now and the start of the race.
Awesome. So, Amory, you are the content guy on the boat. You are capturing all the adventures. Newport's your home, obviously. I heard some fans back there. So one of the most exciting elements of being out at sea is observing marine wildlife. And it must be incredibly special to encounter different animals and things like whales, in their natural habitat. So it sounds like you have to kind of capture footage 24/7. Do you actually get any sleep?
I don't think anybody gets any sleep on these boats. As you've heard, they're pretty aggressive, and the way we're moving isn't conducive to sleep. But the way my job has evolved, I can remember the first race, cameras were pretty new, the cameras that we're using, and particularly at night, you couldn't see a lot. So that was my time. I always loved the night because I get to come up on deck and look at the stars and actually talk to the guys and be just outside enjoying the sailing without really worrying about catching everything on film. And it's not really the case anymore. Cameras now are so good. They can see in the dark almost better than our eyes can. So I'm basically working 24/7 with the camera. But that's probably the exciting part. We're now showing the night and half of our sailing routine that we've never had the opportunity to show before. So it's one of the cool things about coming back, and I guess we'll sleep when we get in.
For sure. And circling back to my first question, what kind of things have you seen out at sea while you were on this particular trip as well?
Sure. Yeah, the wildlife is one of the great parts about sailing across oceans, and we go to some pretty remote parts of the world where you do see some really neat animals. This trip, North Atlantic, we saw some whales, we saw some dolphin. We went through a really great part of the ocean, the Grand Banks off Newfoundland, and we saw some pilot whales, a lot of really active bird life, the shearwaters that kind of glide over the surface of the water. They don't even really fly. They're just using the surface effect. It's beautiful to watch them almost surf the waves. We try and observe, but the reality is we're seeing less and less. This was I think we talked about it, my 7th we've all sailed across the Atlantic a lot, but I think this is my 7th or 8th. And it seems with each one, we see a little less. But a lot of that, too, is the boat. I mean, these boats now are so fast, and we're inside. You really don't see
fast.
I was thinking our first trip, we were with the All-American offshore team, and it was a race from here to England. And we were going through the fog off of actually probably pretty close to the same area. Yeah. And we had this creature following us behind, and I taped a GoPro to a boat hook and stuck it off the back of the boat, and it was a beaked whale, which I had never seen or really even heard before. But I don't think we could be sticking a GoPro on a boat hook off the back of this boat, so I think those days are probably behind us. But there's a lot of great stuff out there, and being able to capture that and share those images with everyone is a lot of fun.
We spoke about the fact that you all are collecting data while you're out there. So what happens, let's say, when you see a whale? What's kind of the protocol?
Sure. When we see whales or anything, the goal for us is to record as much as possible. So whatever we can see about the animal, any sort of obvious markings or behavioral patterns, it's hard. A lot of what we see we're really far away from, and we're going in some cases really fast. So we're not always able to capture all of the information that we would like to pass on to the relevant authorities, like the Whaling Museum at New Bedford and others. But anything that we can record, whether it's just a whale spout and what it might look like, loud, seagulls,
the animals are talking
whatever
to
it
us.
may be, gives them an indication as to how many, sort of whales there may be, what way they're moving, how they're moving. And a big tool that we have on board now that we didn't before to do that is the drone. So we have a lot of opportunities.
Just to speak to the timeline a little bit, I remember on that first trip you were talking about, you tried to put a GoPro in a kite. So that
didn't work so well either.
That shows how long we've been doing it.
Just doing
really
all kinds of
aging ourselves
experiments.
here. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I'm actually kind of scared to ask you, have you lost a lot of GoPros?
I've lost GoPros, drones. Yeah, they are expendable, but as I've learned, you can't get attached to a very complex piece of machinery.
Yeah, it has to be tough out there. I mean, you need that equipment in order to capture the footage that is so important to science. So it's great that you guys are doing that. And I'm still impressed by the fact that while you're racing, you're, again, collecting scientific data. And what other types of information do you guys collect? If anyone can speak on that, if you'd like.
Yeah, well, you saw in the video, we call it Science with Sci-Fi. He's very good with this kind of stuff. But we had on board a water sampling unit, Ocean Pack, who was collecting from the minute we left the dock in France to the minute we tied up down here, salinity, CO2 temp, water temperature, and all of that information, is giving real value to data, sort of real data to scientists, and that's like actual genuine science that we're conducting. We had the weather buoy that's feeding all kinds of valuable information for 2 years. That's not only helping with the marine models that as sailors we use every day, but also collecting information about the health of the ocean. And that's kind of a responsibility of ours now. And we talk a lot about places like the Southern Ocean and Point Nemo, which is the farthest, I think the farthest point in the ocean from land, and we sail through it. This is at this point, the next closest human is in space. And so scientists aren't really able to go to these locations, and if we have the opportunity to develop these tools, refine these technologies to a place where maybe not just our boat, but maybe all of the boats, maybe all of the races can start implementing them, we're doing real good for the community, and it kind of gives purpose to our race. So we enjoy being citizen scientists and collecting as much as we can.
That's brilliant. So talking about science and the whole, mission within 11th Hour Racing and the team, we're going to move on to Alessandra. Ale, it's great to have you here tonight. You studied oceanography at the University of Milan in Italy, and you also sailed while you were growing up. And so now you're the communications director at 11th Hour Racing, and you've combined your two greatest passions together. I mean, tell me what that's like in your journey.
Yeah, I think passion for the ocean is definitely a theme tonight. I mean, these guys have shared their stories. Danny, I'm sure you have fantastic stories. And I'm sure the audience has lots of memories of how they became passionate for the ocean. I can remember when I was a kid growing up in landlocked Milan, I would go to the sea only once a year, and I remember digging out my snorkel and mask and fins and driving my mom crazy every night for a week before going, splashing in the bathtub. But I really remember how excited I was, and I just couldn't wait to dive into the ocean, get my head under the surface, and discover this kind of magical kingdom full of sea creatures and shiny pebbles and shells. And I still feel excited like that for the ocean when I go swimming at Third Beach or go paddleboarding at Second Beach. And I really think that this sort of youthful and almost visceral passion and excitement for the ocean is what is behind 11th Hour Racing and why 11th Hour Racing was born.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Definitely. So tell us more about 11th Hour Racing and what exactly is the mission?
So at 11th Hour Racing, we use and harness the platform of sport to drive positive change and to inspire solutions for the ocean. And people might often ask, well, but what does that mean? And for me, it means that we work with people, with communities for the ocean. So in a nutshell, our clients are the Blue Planet and people. And I think if we look at tonight's event, it's a clear example of how we work at 11th Hour Racing. We have a great collaboration tonight between 11th Hour Racing, one of our main sponsorships, the 11th Hour Racing team, led by Mark and Charlie, and two of our local long-standing grantees, Sail Newport and Newport Film. And we're around this stage talking and discussing about sport and the environment and how we can all collectively do better and take better care of our planet. So this is really what we do at 11th Hour Racing. We combine sport with philanthropy, and we think globally and act locally.
Awesome. So maybe some of you watching tonight tuned in earlier this week on Wednesday to the Ocean Race Summits held right here in Newport at Sail Newport. I had the pleasure of taking part as a co-host. And, you know, I love the fact that, you know, 11th Hour Racing has partnered with the Ocean Race. Can you share a little bit about the projects and the plans that you're working on with them?
Sure. So we've been working with the Ocean Race now for a few years on what we call racing with purpose. So really adapting the ocean racing winning strategies to driving positive change. And like we said, we just hosted this great Ocean Race Summit. And so with the Ocean Race, our objective is really to maximize the positive impact of this global international sporting event. And we do this through different initiatives, influencer events like the Ocean Race Summit, global awareness campaigns, ocean science on board the boats like we saw in the video and like Amory explained, citizen science programs, youth learning programs, and smart race villages. Like we said, 2 days ago, we had this very successful Ocean Race Summit here in Newport hosted by Danny, where leading change makers from around the world share their solutions and inspirations to restore ocean health. And we're really looking forward to what's coming up next. And the original first Ocean Race Summit took place here in Newport in 2015 with a vision of creating a series of strategic events. And we're very honored and proud that 5 years later, we're here again. And we've really broadened the conversation from the topic of marine debris, which these guys always encounter at sea, to how we can address the global climate crisis.
That's absolutely tremendous. And if you want to watch the summit, I believe the replay is available on Facebook. It was streamed live, but it is available for replay. I highly recommend that you check it out. It was full of so much good information, and it was inspirational, because that's what we really need right now to keep us going on the road ahead. So thank you, Ali. And let's loop back now to Mark. Tonight's main driver, we're talking about a race, right? This is one of the most rigorous athletic competitions in the world. And we saw on screen that it's utterly grueling to be out at sea, the way that you all deal with the race. And this is your third campaign around the world that you're about to embark on. So what is it about the race that keeps you coming back?
It's a great question. And for me, there's really three main things that keep me coming back. I think first and foremost, it's just a passion for the ocean. I grew up in Hawaii and really connected with the ocean from a young age, and I just feel so drawn to it and really at peace and at home when we're out there racing. And I think that's the second part, is the competition. And this event, literally is a race around the world. It happens at the highest level, and we have yet to win it. So we're still chasing that trophy. But really, the most important part of the whole experience for me is the people. It's the camaraderie of being with the group, and not just the sailing team, but our entire team and organization and everyone that's involved in the campaign. We have just a wonderful group, some really talented and smart people, and I just love being on teams and trying to take on really aspirational goals. So it's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. So what about this campaign makes it different, and what's different about your team today?
Yeah, well, I think Ali spoke to it. You know, it's really about racing with purpose. Our goal really is to win the ocean race, but it's also much more than that. You know, we're trying to demonstrate that sustainability and competitive excellence go hand in hand. We really see ourselves as ocean stewards and really need to be leading by example. You know, we've had the privilege of seeing so much out there in the ocean, and it's really our job to bring some of that to light. So there's a number of different things that we're doing on that front, which I'm really excited about. I'll give you two quick examples. You know, one is a lot of the science that's been spoken about tonight, and just the actually speaking to the scientists and understanding how valuable that data is to get to the middle of the ocean and bringing all that back to them is something I think we're quite proud of. And then secondly, it's the impact that we can have both on a global scale, but also locally. We work with different grantees in the different places that we stop. A nice example is in France, we work with a grantee who commissioned a study on sustainable or alternative materials for yacht construction. And so, as many of us tonight here know, you know, carbon fiber is today the best material to build boats out of. And that's from a competitive standpoint, but not necessarily from an environmental standpoint. So we're exploring alternative materials like flax or bioresins, and also taking that knowledge to the IMOCA class, to the ocean race, and trying to drive policy change as well. So it's a really widespread effort that we're trying to do.
Well, I think the necessity breeds innovation, and like you guys are just testing and pushing the envelope and working towards new solutions, and that's what we need right at this moment. We can't keep on going with the status quo. And there is an argument that exists out there that says if you want to, you know, reduce your impact as a sailing team, you shouldn't even go out and race. So how would you answer that challenge?
Well, I think, you know, we could all stay home and do nothing, but we really wouldn't achieve a lot. You know, from our perspective, it's our job and responsibility as athletes to bring our experiences to light and to tell these stories through Amory's cameras and to support the science and to really try to drive change through education and innovation.
So good, so good. So some might think that you're sharing your learnings with other people and then it may cause you to be a little bit less competitive in the water when it comes to the race. Is that true?
I don't think so. You know, sustainability is not competitive. Everyone can be doing it. You know, everyone can shift their priorities just a little bit. And, you know, with that small shift, we can all make a really big difference. So, of course, you know, we want to win this race, but as I talked about, we want to do that collaboratively and try to, you know, inspire all the teams that we race against to embrace some of these initiatives.
Brilliant. Thank you, Mark. So, Ali, switching it back to you. From your perspective, what will success look like for 11th Hour Racing?
Well, I think we're all competitive here, sailors, non-sailors. So winning.
Oh, yeah.
Winning, of course. But I think we all agree that the 11th Hour Racing team, the main objective is to win, but they are a billboard for a much broader campaign and mission. And we are all driven by this vision of a world where land and ocean support each other. And I think success for us would be engaging and talking with the widest audience possible, whether people are sports fans or sailing fans, connected to the ocean or not connected to the ocean. Success will be inspiring and collaborating on sustainable solutions wherever we go. Success is going to be inspiring other teams to follow our team, sharing the team's story. And just continuing and engaging with as many people as possible. So we're looking forward to this amazing collaboration with the team.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm really in awe, I think, that you all are walking the walk. You talk about it and you're doing it, and that's what's really most important. I think people just need to see living, breathing examples of how we can do it better. So I applaud you for doing that. It also excites me because I'm a science communicator and I love all the science that you've been talking about tonight. I wish we could go much deeper into it, but we do have a limited amount of time tonight because we want to see this film as well. But I guess, Ali, I think one of the final questions I really want to know, what is Newport's going to be the host, one of the host stopovers in 2023. What's the most exciting thing? What is Newport like when the stopover happens? Because I wasn't here for the last one. I'd love to know more.
Yeah, well, we're super excited that Newport is going to host the Ocean Race again for the third time. And I think we all talked a lot about community tonight, how our work is really rooted in community. And I'm sure we all agree that Newport, the Aquinic Island, Rhode Island, always offer a tremendous welcome to the team. Whenever they come home, whether it's day or night, there's spectators all over the place on land and at sea. So it's really exciting to be back here and engaging with all these fantastic people.
Awesome. Woohoo! Honk and applaud if you
Big
were
honk for
excited about the
Newport.
2023 stopover. Awesome. Charlie, what's next for the team?
What's next for the team? I think first and foremost, just, operating in this COVID climate's been very difficult. So everything we do, we're trying to do, safely. We feel very lucky and privileged to be, here gathered together in Newport amongst this, local community. Like I said, we're going to be here for 6 weeks, continuing to train, to test, to move the needle on the performance side, but it's also a great opportunity to engage with a lot of the local grantees of 11th Hour while we're here. And just, embrace and be part of this coastal community that, we're so fortunate to have around us. I mean, for me personally, I grew up here sailing on Narragansett Bay. I have what I consider to be a dream job. I wake up in my own bed, I commute down here and get to go sailing on this machine. And I don't take that lightly. So it's just a real privilege, and we're going to try to enjoy and make the most of these next couple weeks.
Brilliant. And I have another question that it's not on what we spoke about, but I wanted to find out from each of you, if you have a message to young people, someone out there right now who might be watching online or sitting in this audience, what would you tell them if they were thinking about wanting to do what you're doing right now?
Think twice, I guess. Some days are better than others, certainly, but we keep coming back for a reason. And, whether it's the competitive nature of the race, the adventure, the excitement, getting to see all the wonderful things that we get to see, or whether it's the purpose-driven part of our campaign and, collaborating with such great partners and sponsors like 11th Hour Racing for great causes like Ocean Health. I'd seriously consider pursuing it, and don't let anyone tell you can't, even if I do say, think twice.
What about you, Amory? What would you tell some young people out there?
I would emphasize just the diversity of opportunities that exist in a team like this. I learned how to use a camera, and that vicariously led me to this boat and storytelling about our world's oceans. And I grew up caring about our world's oceans, but I had no idea I'd be here doing it this way. And we have a team full of people. It's not just the sailors, it's the shore crew, it's the communication staff. I mean, there are so many different ways for kids to get involved, no matter your passion, and it all takes you to, a really great cause and the opportunity to influence the future.
Ale, do you have any messages for the kids?
Oh, yeah. I'd say follow your dreams. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't do it, because I didn't have a background in communications. I love sailing. I love the ocean, and I made it happen. So really do follow your dreams. You can do it.
And Mark?
Allie took mine. It really would be to follow your dreams. We created the dream to do the Volvo Ocean Race 10 years ago. I never thought that I would get the chance to do it, and here we are with the opportunity to go around the world for a third time. And I think that's really the product of just having a dream and also chasing it with some really hard work. Those two things together, you can achieve big things.
Absolutely. So how do we stay in touch? How does everyone watching right now, how can we keep up with everything that's going on with 11th Hour Racing and the team?
Yeah, well, as Charlie said, we're going to be down here training out of Fort Adams for the next 6 or 8 weeks. You can follow us online. We're on social media, our team website. Amory's going to be putting out a lot of awesome content. And don't be afraid to come down and say hi. It's interesting times right now with COVID, and we all need to keep our distance, but we really do feel honored to be here. As someone who didn't grow up here, I really do feel like Newport and Rhode Island are my second home, and a lot of that speaks to the community that's here. So thank you very much for your support, and please come down and say hi.
Fantastic. And Ali, anything from 11th Hour Racing how we can keep in touch? Is there a newsletter anyone can sign up for?
We have a website, not yet a newsletter we can sign up for, but website, it's linked to the team's website. And of course, social media, please become fans and follow us. And we're based in Newport, so even though we're still working from home, we'll be around and hanging out with the team a fair amount. So please come and find us.
Well, thank you so much for, for me personally, thank you for the hospitality this week. I've had a tremendous time. This was so much fun. And I just have an immense amount of gratitude for each of you because, like I said earlier, you're pushing the envelope. You're taking it to the next level, and that's what the world needs to see in every industry. And so I'm excited to see what's going to come along in the next, let's say, 10 years. And also, I think the fact that you're promoting marine stewardship, I've always been a promoter of access to the ocean. How do we create more access? And sailing is definitely one of those avenues. So how do we bring in more people to experience the energy, the beauty of the ocean? Because this is one ocean planet. I think Captain Paul Watson, one of my favorite guys out there, he talks about the fact that we're basically living in the ocean because we're breathing the air that the ocean creates for us. And our planet is obviously covered mostly by water. So that should have been the name from the jump, but hey, we'll see what happens in the future. Maybe we'll rename our planet. Who knows? But again, thank you, each of you, for being here tonight, and I'm looking forward to our film. Ale, Amory, Mark, Charlie, thank you so much. Can we give it up for 11th Hour Racing Team?
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, what an incredibly exciting project. This is all about top flight professional sport, campaigning for ocean health, and also giving us the inspiration that we really need to be doing to make a difference. So I'm going to pause. Let's hear. I'm going to go up to my mark. There we go. So for those of you who are watching online, I'd want to tell you that this is the end of our virtual screening. So thank you for joining us wherever you are in the world. And now we've got some other fun stuff lined up for our live audience. All right, so come on up.